Siku za mwizi ni 40. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but it is impossible to fool all the people all the time. On Sunday, the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, a leading presidential candidate for 2022, held a rally in the Nairobi suburb of Mpesa, indeed at the famous Jacaranda grounds. Those who are following the 2017 elections remember very well the Jacaranda grounds. Those are the grounds that Mike Sonko recently told us that his Jubilee party, including himself, were responsible for bringing in sewage lorries and littering that ground with human waste so as to block a NASA meeting. Now, the Deputy President's leading spokesperson, and some people say leading propagandist, posted a photograph on Twitter showing a huge crowd at Mpesa, supposedly attending the Deputy President's rally there. What followed was drama, because keen Kenyans discovered that that photograph was actually photoshopped. It was picked from somewhere else, a rally somewhere in Nigeria. And Itumbi was telling Kenyans that that was actually a photo from the Deputy President's rally at Jacaranda, showing just how popular the Deputy President is. Now, of course, those who have been following this story know that that picture was pulled down. Shame on Dennis Itumbi. Shame on the Hustler Nation. That is the naked truth. Now, there are a few things that are worth noting here. Number one, when you catch a thief, you can be sure, chances are very high, that that is not the first time that thief is stealing. Isn't that correct? Chances are that that particular thief has stolen so many times and gotten away with it. And as a result, they have gained a lot of confidence. And sometimes confidence is not good, because it makes you careless. It makes you complacent. It makes you even more daring, increasing the chances of you being caught. It seems that this is what has happened here. Now, this has some very far-reaching implications, because for the first time, it proves to those Kenyans who at first did not believe that the Hustler Nation narrative is actually manufactured. A lot of it is actually manufactured. It does not exist. It proves that the Hustler Nation strategy is a determined effort to create as much perception as possible in favor of the Deputy President. And people will go to great lengths. They will do crazy things, all for the sake of perception. Now, regulars on this channel will remember that late last year, I did a video on how the Hustler Nation faked a large crowd at the ferry area in Mombasa, Likoni Ferry, where the Deputy President's entourage waited for a ferry or two to dock here on the island side, and then blocked the crowd and held a rally. In that particular video, you'll remember, I showed you a photograph of the Deputy President glancing sideways to ensure that the cameras were capturing the crowd, the huge crowd of people coming off the ferry, most of whom were now blocked and could not move, and were attending the Deputy President's rally, political rally, by force. There are many Kenyans who did not believe what I said in that video. Well, now you have some evidence. But the reason why all this is very disturbing, especially for those who are supporting the Deputy President and understand politics, the reason why this is so disturbing is that we are just now entering into serious campaigns. Yani, mambo bado. And yet, the Hustler Nation is being caught red-handed at this very critical phase of the presidential campaign. I'm just wondering whether we're going to have a serious contest, in 3 months' time, or even in 2 months' time. Because the way things are going, nobody should say this video is not balanced. I'm just reporting facts and nothing else. The way things are going, those Kenyans who are looking forward to a serious political battle and an election too close to call, as a certain analyst put it recently, will now be disappointed. That is the writing that is clearly on the wall. Because when the game you're playing was a game of perception, and then you get caught, it is a little late to change your system of play. It's very late. So what are you going to do next? Because going forward, even when you manage to gather a genuine crowd, people are going to be suspicious. But in my opinion, all this drama has brought into sharp focus something important for Kenyans to consider. How important are crowds in a political campaign? Do crowds determine a winner of an election in advance? The questions arising. Now, I've been criticized recently on this channel by some of us that when the Deputy President manages to gather crowds, I say crowds are not important in politics. But when Raila gathers a crowd, I use that crowd to predict Raila Odinga's future politically and to predict victory for Raila. Now, that's a very fair criticism. Let me answer it like this. I did not want to say it before, but I've always been suspicious of Ruto crowds. Based on that Likoni video, the Likoni Ferry video, where people were forced to attend a rally with the Deputy President, and many other small incidences right across the country. But Raila Odinga rallies and the crowds that turn up are different. We know that the crowds are organic. We know that people are not bribed to attend Raila Odinga meetings. We know that Raila Odinga does not dish out money during his campaigns, etc., etc. And therefore, if a large crowd gathers to listen to Raila Odinga, it is not the same as an alleged large crowd gathering to listen to William Samoei Ruto. And that's my opinion. But now we can see some facts coming out to support that opinion. Now, in our political history in the past, we have seen politicians win without crowds. Indeed, we have seen politicians win without holding a single rally. I believe the most famous example is that of Kenneth Matiba for the presidential race in the year 1992. Matiba had just returned from London, where he had gone for treatment for a very serious stroke he had suffered while in detention. He was detained by Moi. And therefore, because of his health situation, it was not practical for him to hold rallies across the country. So in 1992, Kenneth Matiba, a presidential candidate, did not hold a single political rally. Many analysts believe that it was Matiba who won those elections. He was the runner-up, but many analysts, including yours truly, believe that he was the true winner of that election. But I guess somebody who is new to politics, somebody who is inexperienced in politics, will always focus on crowds and crowds alone. And maybe that's why it should not surprise anybody that Team Tangatanga, at least some people in Team Tangatanga, in the analysis of Raila Odinga's big rally in Thika recently, had the following to say. They said that Raila's popularity is reducing. Why? Because the large crowd in Thika was not as large as past crowds that Raila had attracted in Thika. Now that is interesting. Clearly, some people are obsessed with crowds and crowds alone. And yet there are so many other factors those who are experienced in politics need to look at. For instance, and I've said this before on this channel, most elections are won by a candidate who is not necessarily liked. The vast majority of people will vote for a candidate who they don't actually like. Oh yes, majority of voters will vote for a candidate whose rally they never attended. Why? Because many times people will cast a protest vote rather than vote for a particular presidential candidate. They'll vote for the other one to protest against the other one. I think the best example of this, in my opinion, was 2007. And I had many arguments and debates with my late political lecturer, who was convinced that there were so many people in Kenya who would never vote for Raila Odinga. Well, as it turned out, there was a very large protest vote against Mwai Kibaki. And of course, a protest vote against Mwai Kibaki. You believe he has messed you, you don't like his presidency, everything that has happened you don't like. Kenyans were missing Moi's Meet the People tours, etc., etc. And so, they cast a protest vote against Mwai Kibaki. And a protest vote against Mwai Kibaki was a vote for Raila Odinga. Folks, this is getting super interesting. Until next time, this is Chris. Kumekucha.